Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. I'm checking the time there, okay. And this is going to be a regular Asaph Cafe. Once again, we have two of our regulars, the lovely Linda Briggs Curtis. Thank you, Linda. And affectionately, our aging rocker, Emmet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a delight to have both of you on. It's always a delight to talk about maybe some serious stuff, non-serious stuff,
Yes,
whatever,
indeed.
and just having fun.
Exactly.
Now I have to tell you, the two guests I had planned to be here today, they wound up going out to Derby, so they aren't going to get back on time, so they contacted me.
Yeah, interesting.
It was Valerie and Sheena. They were going to be on the show today.
Oh, I saw Valerie Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think you sent a note about that. It would have been nice to have them both on, because Sheena's visiting from Washington with her husband Dwayne, so maybe they'll make the second show. I don't know. They didn't say. They just said they're way out in Derby. I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't know how far that is.
Nor have I.
So they did get back on time. So it's just the three of us.
Yep.
Just the three.
There's a famous song, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
It went something like this. So let me try it again. And then it had a verse that went like this. Something like that. I don't know.
Fascinating.
But it had this song, just the two of us. We can make it if we.
Oh yeah, just the two of us.
Yeah, I don't know
I've
how to
heard that
play
in a
that.
commercial, and I don't remember what commercial, but I heard that in the commercial. Just the two of us.
Yeah, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Well, Emmett, you can start us off.
Heavenly Father, bless our food and our time together in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
And we could call this episode being blessed. I've been blessed
Yes.
this week.
Yep.
Yesterday I got a smartphone for the first time. And it's up there charging now, and as we're doing this
A
taping
smartphone. It must have gone to college and gotten good degrees.
Yeah.
It's better than a stupid phone that doesn't know much, but a smartphone that went to college and got degrees. I didn't know phones could go to college and get degrees. Smartphone, isn't that funny?
Oh, that joke's better than what you told last week.
Well, I was very delighted to see an article this morning in the Missoulian in which it showed the Frenchtown seniors in their caps and gowns visiting the elementary school and the primary school in Frenchtown and doing high fives to the children.
Wonderful.
And the theme of it was education matters.
Oh, I see. I think we'll just call this counting our blessings.
Yes.
Because yesterday, I'm 57 years old. I've never had a smartphone before, and I finally have one. And it's just the coolest thing. I was watching Liberace.
Well, you can do anything on it.
Well, I know.
Anything
I have.
you can do on a computer, right?
And, yeah, my ringtone is going to be Beethoven's Farrelly's.
Yep.
My nephew and his wife named their daughter Melody Elise
Really, that's a pretty name.
for Elise.
Melody Elise, huh? That's pretty.
Her last name is Massey, so she's Melody Massey.
So is the first name Melody Elise put together?
Melody is the first name, Elise is the second name.
That's pretty. I like that. I have to remember that. I don't think I'll have any little girl Asaphs floating around.
And she's
but
been in a lot of music and theater.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was one blessing, getting that phone yesterday.
It reminds me of that scene in Fiddler on the Roof, and where they say that Seidel and her husband have a new addition at their house, and everybody goes over to look at the new sewing machine.
Oh, sewing machine! Oh, something to talk to. Something new to talk to. A sewing machine.
Well-
I've talked to sewing machines.
Well, her husband was a tailor,
Oh.
so that was his way to make money.
Yeah,
So you have a new addition,
Yes.
almost like a person.
Oh, yeah. I was up till 3 a.m. this morning playing with my little toy. I had fun with it. And let's see, what else did I do? My other blessing is because of you, that piano. Yeah, Linda has made it possible for me to get a piano in my home. So now I can start practicing again and getting the hours in instead of having to go to the university or ride a bus
Wonderful.
somewhere. I'll still come see you and practice on your piano.
Well, I hope it is what you need.
Yeah, no, really. I haven't been getting as much practice lately as I should. So that's a blessing. So that's my blessing. What about you? What's a blessing for you, Emma?
My garden is doing well.
Good.
My garden is, I have a little garden, and the seedlings are coming up, so that's a blessing, definitely.
Yeah, and your hand is well. That's
Yeah.
a blessing. Linda, you?
Well, my seedlings are coming up pretty well in my apartment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I have a gardening plot, but I haven't done much with it yet because a person keeps throwing stuff out for the animals right into my garden plot.
Oh.
But the other thing was getting my, my birthday was May 16th. And Thursday, my son and daughter-in-law got around to making a video for me of them, which is what I always ask for my birthday. And it's just so delightful.
Okay, I'd like to see that sometime.
I emailed it to you.
Okay, I haven't been checking the messages yet.
Oh.
Well, I'm still learning the phone, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway,
check
I
it
already
out.
sent it to you.
Okay. I'll check it out later on. I'm going to play the Chopin
So
piece
that
here.
delighted me. That was a blessing.
Okay.
And then also getting to change pianos in the chapel and be able to donate the donated piano to you.
Well, that's very humbling. Thank you. Yeah, I want to let the matter know how much I appreciate that.
Yep.
I just like this song. I haven't played it in a while.
No.
It's called the Prelude in E minor. It makes me think of a movie or something.
Is that Chopin?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to find that old Thompson book because it had the main melodies of all of those.
I consider being on this show a blessing, you know.
Oh, think it's kind. And I feel this show is a blessing.
It
too.
is, yeah.
It's a beautiful song. Makes me think of like I'm in a cafe or something.
Did I ever tell you that the story about my son liking to blow out candles?
No.
He was, from the time he was a little over a year old, he just thought it was the most fun to blow out birthday candles. And so he looked forward to that. And when he was about 3, I guess, we were at a restaurant in Sedona, California.
Okay.
And we had driven all the way from Las Vegas, so we got there kind of late, and while we were there, they started closing the restaurant. It was a nice, elegant restaurant, and they had those liquid candles, with the wick that burns in the liquid. And there was a young man who was doing piano work.
Oh, really?
And he stopped, when it was time for him to stop playing, and he carried little Justin around blowing out the candles on all the tables.
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't that cute? And then when we were in Mammoth, California, and we went to a restaurant called the Matterhorn. There weren't very many people there, but there was an older couple at a booth a little ways away from us, and wouldn't you know it, little Justin went right over to their booth and crawled up beside them, and wanted to blow out the candle. Well, I went over. It was Carl Reiner and his wife.
Really? Wow.
And it was just wonderful, and I didn't want to intrude on them to ask for an autograph,
Okay.
but that was neat.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, Well, anyway, I've just been counting my blessings this week, and I got reacquainted with some friends. They don't live in Missoula. Now that I have this phone, and they'll be calling me later on tonight. It's just little simple things like that, those little blessings and
The joys that count.
So anyway, I'm just counting my blessings.
Because the smartphone isn't just a physical belonging, it also is a connection to people.
Well, yeah, I just feel connected now instead of isolated and separated from everybody, because now people can reach me directly. If there's an emergency, I can take the phone and make a quick video. If I get in trouble, I can call help faster.
Yeah, that's good,
Stuff like that,
Remember when we had payphones, though?
Yeah, and you get a flat tire, gotta walk them out, and then bum a dime from a clerk or something to put in there, a quarter, and spin the dial to make your call. And you gotta wait like another half hour before somebody comes and finds you.
Yeah.
Now with these things here, they can track you down real fast. It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Unfortunately, there are two things I think that we don't have anymore.
What's that?
One of those is a phone booth.
Yeah.
Because as inconvenient as they could be from time to time, I found them very convenient to change my costumes. And the other thing is a drinking fountain. Because I can remember one time I was driving from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and it was really hot, and I didn't have enough money to buy water. And all I could do is go into the ladies' restroom and scoop up water in my hands to drink so that I could survive to get back to Las Vegas. If there had been a drinking fountain, I could have.
I see.
Might not have been really pure water, but this isn't, this isn't a third world country. I was really privileged Monday to be able to hear Ruth Brown speak. She has been a mission server in the Congo with a group that helps women to learn how to fend for themselves and produce crops and get to the point where they can be educated and get a job. And I found it really interesting. We knew that those countries, you have to be really, really careful of the water. Because they, a lot of them don't have running water and stuff. And before she spoke, she said to our group, somebody said, can we get you anything else before you speak? And she said, well, I don't think I'll make it through without water. And so this was at a church, and my friend ran upstairs and got a pitcher of water for her in a plastic tumbler.
Wow.
And it had ice in it. She did not touch it. And I knew she was dying of thirst, so I took my unopened bottle of water out of my bag and gave it to her. And she did touch that. And that was just probably because she's been so used to being places where you don't dare drink the water.
I see.
Absolutely,
Anyway, it was quite revealing, her conversation about what they're doing to combat starvation and disease.
Good.
When the government they have is horribly corrupt. And
that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Doesn't pay salaries for the police, often doesn't pay salaries for teachers, and people are expected to bribe those officials to get them to do anything because they don't make a salary. Isn't that something?
Wow.
But yet they can, the leader of that country can donate $1 million for somebody to speak.
Oh, wow. That's why I'm counting my blessings today.
Yes, we certainly can.
Yeah.
Pure water.
Yeah. So I was going to say the same thing, from the tap that isn't contaminated. Yeah.
And we still have nature around us.
Yes.
And, it's kind of, it's not funny, and it's not really odd either, but it's proof that nature still survives and succeeds. And that is that the blocking of the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier Park, it's been blocked several times the last few weeks. It isn't, and they have mudslides. And the reason why they discovered they've been having the mudslides is not that the hill is collapsing or the structure is failing. It's because the rainfall overran the beaver dams
Whoa.
and washed the beaver dams down the hillside into the road. And so that's all they have to take care of is make sure that they put back those beaver dams the way they were.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
I was changing the subject. Emma, I was going to tell you, one of my latest stories was on Barbara Billingsley. I don't know if you remember her.
She was on Leave It to Beaver. She was the mother who always wore a perfect dress and a perfect apron.
Yeah, but see, I didn't start the story with Leave It to Beaver. I started it with her appearance on Airport. Did you see the movie Airport?
No, I never did.
I did.
Well, it was like this parody comedy of situations. And there was these two African-American fellas. One of them had eaten some bad fish on
Oh, wait,
on the
Airplane.
flight. Airplane.
I loved
Airplane.
Airplane.
Yeah, Airplane. And
I
they were
loved
speaking
that.
jive.
Yeah, I
and,
love
and
that.
the guy that was sick, he didn't speak like English. He was speaking what they call jive.
Yeah,
It
it was so funny.
He's like, I can't remember the words because I don't have my notes with me, but he was like, I'm sick to the bone.
Yeah,
You know,
something
kind
like
of
that.
thing. He was like talking
Yeah,
jive.
yeah.
And his partner says, Cuddy K, hang! And the stewardess couldn't understand what they were trying
Yeah.
to say. And so then Barbara Billingsley gets up and says, excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive. And it was so funny.
Oh, I just loved that.
Because, you think of June Cleaver, this perfect character, and she was like, she gonna be with you. She gonna cut me some slack, Jack. She'll be right with you.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't have my notes with me, so I
Well,
can't
I
really
remember
say
it's
it, but
something
it
like
was
that,
just
yeah.
really funny.
Now, just hang loose, Bloods.
Yeah, hang
the
loose, Bloods.
the
You get
people
you
are going to
on
be
the-
with the meta side on the
Yeah,
rebound.
On the rebound. Yeah, it was just so funny that
Yeah.
whole scene.
It was hilarious. Cut him some slack, Jack. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like he ain't got no sense, no how. I did to that.
Yeah.
When she walks off, but I did a story on her a couple of days
wonderful.
ago, and I started it with that scene in Airport. Then I led it to
Airplane. Yeah.
Airplane.
I mean,
Airplane.
Airplane. Yeah. Sorry.
Airport
And then there was
the
Airplane
one that
2.
Helen
That's the
Hayes
serious one. Yeah,
started.
that's the serious one. No, Airplane's the comical one. That's
Yeah.
what I meant to say. And so I started my story with that and led to Leave It to Beaver and her
Mm-hmm.
accomplishments, because she's considered the best TV mom in history.
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver was seen in 100 countries
I
around the
used
world.
didn't
to
know
like
that.
June Lockhart on Lassie.
I did too, but
Yeah.
and I'm a big June Lockhart fan.
Mhm.
But I think Barbara Billingsley has it because think about it. Whatever show in the 50s was seen in 100 countries around the world, Leave It to Beaver is the only one that I know of. So, and for those 50s kind of family shows.
I know
Yeah.
that we made it a point to see it as much as possible, and we didn't have a television at our house.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver was such a fun, clean family show.
Wow, I never watched it. I hate
No,
to say
really, it
Huh,
was
fascinating.
very clean. I
And
mean,
it was a nice family. With
yeah, Ward
good
Cleaver was
parents,
just a man of strength with that family.
and the kids
and-
and the bully in the neighborhood always.
Eddie Haskell, yeah, you always start picking with folks. They had a scene in there when they were really little. You know how Eddie Haskell would just be all pretending to be nice to Mrs. Cleaver? And I like your cooking, and just remember not to put no mayonnaise in my sandwich, Mrs. Cleaver. She got ticked off. She put a bunch of mayo on. Stuff like that. But that was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of family shows.
Yeah, they did.
Father Knows Best.
Mm-hmm.
June Lockhart does Lassie and Timmy, I
Uh-huh.
believe it was. Of course, Lost in Space.
Yeah.
June Lockhart. Family show. I don't know if that fits in that category. The Donna Reed Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Oh my goodness, there's so many fun
Mm-hmm.
family shows. The Ozzie, Harriet, I
Yeah.
Love Lucy, you
Yeah.
know. But no, I think that Leave It to Beaver. I think that Barbara Billingsley will probably go down in history as the best TV mom in history.
There's one
You may
family.
still talk about her
Yeah.
image to this day.
Well, I probably am one of those who isn't interested in rating them. I just value them all.
Well, no, I know, I realize that. I'm just talking about just the popularity, I guess, of the shows and the legacy that they left behind. They still talk about Leave It to Beaver after all these years compared to Lassie and the rest, but they're all fun family shows. I enjoy them all. I used to sit with my birth mom watching.
Do you remember the Real McCoys?
Oh yeah, let's see if I can remember how to do that. Hold on.
Da 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 da. Real McCoys. Yeah. They came to.
Something like that. Something like that. With Walter Brennan, the Real McCoys.
Yeah. Like I said about a few episodes ago, I love Caillou. That's on Sprout TV. It's kind of a family show. It's from, I think, it was made in France and it's imported to Canada. But it's such a sweet, innocent show about a 4-year-old child named Caillou. And I don't know mom and dad's name and grandpa's name, but basically there's a nice family. He loves playtime at his play school with Miss Martin and his friends like Leo and Clementine and Xavier and some others. It's just like one time.
It's animated.
It's animated.
Clementine, let's see if I can figure that out. Hold on.
It's like one episode was Caillou's dad took Caillou to the park, and he and Clementine were playing. One nice thing I do like about Caillou, it's very much racially inclusive, and there's just no bones made about it. It's just like, African American children play with Caillou, and he has, just really nice. That's really there's a lot of diversity there. And Clementine's African American or whatever. But anyway, Caillou went over to play with Clementine over at the park, But there was this big slide, and Caillou started crying because he got to the top of the slide and was too high and too big. So his father said, well, that does look like a big, scary slide, but it does look like a lot of fun, though. Tell you what, let's go down it together. And so then he just was very happy, and Clementine wasn't not impressed that I went all by myself, but then they kept going back on the slide, over and over again, and just, that's how it ended, and that's sweet.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember a claymation cartoon called Davy and Goliath?
Yes.
Well, they had this episode, I did a story on them recently, too. They had this episode where this little girl had fallen off her little tricycle wagon, and she was crying.
Yeah.
And David noticed her, and then his Sunday school teacher's voice popped in his head about reaching out to people and helping them when they're hurting.
Yeah.
So David reaches out to the little girl. I'll help you, little girl. Then he sends her on away. It was a cute little claymation thing.
Yeah. Hardly anything gets dire. The most dire episode ever was when Leo and Caillou, Leo's Caillou's best friend, were over at his house playing Space Alien, because they loved science fiction too, and Space Alien. They were running around playing. Well, poor Leo, tripped over a tree branch and broke his toe, and he started crying, and he had to go to the hospital to get it x-rayed. And, he was fine. He was at home resting, kind of a bandage, but he had broken his toe. So, yeah, Leo had broken his toe, and I wasn't going to be able to play much, but, Kai said, how we could play Space Alien again. And Leo asked, how? Well, they were just on the floor playing together in spaceships, and I'm coming in for landing. The coast is clear. Just sweet, So Caillou and Leo are back to doing what they loved best, playing together.
Is that a children's Is it a cartoon?
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
It's not real people?
No, it's a cartoon.
It's an animated.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Davy and Goliath was animated.
Yeah, it's just so sweet. It's just such a sweet cartoon. It's on Sprout TV. Sadly,
Sprout TV?
Yeah, Sprout 103.
Okay, but it doesn't come on anymore. Is that what you're saying?
It comes on only a couple of times a day. Sadly, they used to show it on all the time, but now they've got other cartoons I don't really care for, like the Flugels or some other.
I keep hearing about a show. I think it's on channel 113. And it's called Little Big Shots.
Never heard of it.
And it is real little children who are exceptionally talented in some area, like math or science or gymnastics or music, and they're just beyond what many adults can do. And it's called Little Big Shots, and I haven't.
Really?
I've procrastinated about watching it. I should.
Really? Okay.
And I think it wouldn't do us any harm for any of us to watch it.
Yeah, good idea, yeah.
I see. You know this song?
Play Me a Rainbow.
Nope.
Don't know it, no.
Peter Sellers, that's a hint.
Uh-huh.
Here's the conclusion.
What's the name of this song?
Shot in the Dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what my
Peter
coffee
Sellers.
is.
Yeah.
I go to Break Espresso and get a shot in the dark.
That's the name of the song.
Well, I know that part of it.
Yeah, Shot in the Dark.
One time on Caillou was the sweetest episode. Again, Caillou and Leo was at Caillou's house playing Space Alien, of course. And Leo was pretending to be an alien robot. He had something on his head and said, I need a drink of rocket fuel because that's what alien robots drink. How cute.
Oh, speaking of little boy, talented kids
Yeah.
you're talking about, did you see that little boy on the world news last night? I think it was a little Indian little boy.
Nope.
About 6 years old. He was in his
From
spelling
India?
book. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he was in a spelling bee. And he spelled this big long word, had like about 25 letters, and I couldn't even
Cool.
pronounce it. And the
Cool.
little boy, like,
Cool.
got it all the way through. It was so amazing. He was a cute little kid, about 6 years old.
I mean, well, it had been.
I couldn't even
yeah.
pronounce it. Go ahead.
It had been blowing a lot, so Leo and Caillou saw, through the window what they thought was a flying saucer.
Okay.
They thought, "What is this? We found a flying saucer!" I couldn't believe it. Caillou's plan was to capture the little flying saucer and bring it into preschool for show and tell, and show everyone the aliens in the flying saucer. I thought that was so cute, and he couldn't. Finally, took some pictures and realized it was just an old pie plate that had been blowing around in the wind from the recycle bin, and he was so disappointed. But his dad said, "Well, instead of being disappointed what you didn't do, you should be proud of what you did do. I mean, it was a mystery, and it turned out to be a pie plate, and you solved it." And so he brought it into show and tell and said, this is what I did. Because he told everyone at preschool he was going to bring in the flying saucer and capture the flying saucer with the aliens for show and tell.
I see.
But you realize, it wasn't a UFO, it was a pie plate, and I solved it. And Miss Martin said, that gives me a good idea for an art project. And they made a UFO together. And
That's cute.
Leo said, I am an alien. I need a drink of rocket fuel. That is what alien robots drink. So cute, just adorable.
I checked it out,
It's on 103 if you get charter cable.
I think Emmett needs a child.
Ugh. I would not have minded being a dad. I'm kind of a little old, but I would not have minded being a dad at all.
Yeah, but that's a big
It
responsibility.
is, yeah. It is. I've babysat a lot of children over the years, and I took child development
So have
1 and
I.
2 in high school, Yeah.
Girl from Ipanema.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm getting older like yourself, so I'll probably never have any children.
Yeah.
I used to be bummed out about that when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now that I look back at my life, with the burdens and the responsibility of
Yes.
children, they have to have medical care, dental care.
Yeah,
they
it's
have
a
to scrape
fortune.
Their knee.
Good nutrition.
Johnny's gonna pull his sister's
Discipline.
pigtails.
I know.
And they're gonna have friends across the street gonna beat each other up, and then
Yeah.
be friends about 10 minutes afterwards.
Yeah,
Come home
yeah.
with bloody noses and all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah.
One of the
It's a big
best
responsibility.
items of advice I had read when my son was quite young was make very firm rules, but make them simple.
Yeah, simple. Yeah.
So I established 3 rules. Don't lie, don't steal, and do what you're told, when you're told to, by
Right.
and a person who has real authority.
Yeah.
And that worked really well for him.
Yep.
Family song. I like this song.
Yep.
What is it?
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh,
Recognize that?
Yeah. Nope. Never saw the movie.
I auditioned to be in a live show once, and they said, well, how do you think a redhead would fit in here? And I said, well, because I think it's Greek wedding where they have the mob ties.
Well, no, the first one, what I liked about that film, it was just a happy movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were no
okay.
mob ties in there.
Okay, well, anyway, so I said, well, maybe a redhead could have married into the family.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
well,
that's
see,
where the tie would be.
Yeah, I
And
get it. I
They
get
were
it.
considering me, but I couldn't wait for the job.
What do you mean? Oh, you
They,
mean had to
they
make your
weren't
way?
in production yet,
Oh,
so
I
I
see.
had to go out and get a day job.
Yep.
Aw. Well, you're with us, so
Mhm.
that's small in comparison to that, obviously. But
Yeah.
you two are always welcome here,
Mhm.
anytime. I couldn't do the show without both
Yeah.
of you and all the other people that
Yep.
are involved in that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but getting back to My Big Fat Greek Wedding, it was a happy film.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Tula's a Greek heritage, Greek family. Ian's a non-Greek, and no one has ever gone out with a non-Greek before. So when they started dating, they had to deal with their family, they had to deal with the customs, they had to deal with the differences, everything,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. And at the end, they get married. Very happy movie.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it was just funny what they went through in between from
Yeah.
the time they were dating to the time they married.
I've never been to Greece. I've never been to Greece. I've never
Been
even
there
been out of
either.
the country, actually.
Yeah. But no, I don't think I'll ever have children at this point in my
Yeah.
life. That's not likely.
Yeah.
But I've learned to live with that and
Yeah,
have peace
yeah.
with it.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't bother me like it used to, but I look at it like
Yeah.
this. Look at what I'm going to be spared
Yes, yes.
by not having children.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that like kids aren't a blessing. What I mean
Yeah.
is I'll never have to worry about things like a child dying before me.
Yeah,
I'll never have to worry about things like kids being molested or kidnapped or
exactly.
deal with the stuff that goes on in the world today.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
never have to be burdened with financial obligations to a child.
Yep, yep.
And I know that everybody's different,
Mhm.
and so I'm not trying to be insensitive. It's
Right,
just a
exactly,
fact.
exactly. Yeah.
I won't have to worry about taking Susie to get her appendix out
Yeah.
and be in debt at a hospital or something.
Mhm.
Well, when I was teaching, I felt like I had children.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, for that hour or so a day that I saw them, because I taught at the secondary level where I just would have an hour English class. I could help them
Yeah.
and encourage them and inspire them
Uh-huh.
and help them to believe in themselves.
Yep.
And I can remember there were times when students had a minor injury like a sliver or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't go to the nurse. They wanted me to take it out.
Aw. Yeah, I remember when I used to get splinters in my fingers when I was a kid.
Yeah, I hated those, yeah.
And my mom would make me pour alcohol in the little pinky and then get a little needle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh, gosh, I used to hate that.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to cringe seeing this silver object
Yeah.
about to go into my finger to get the splinter out. But it was either do that or just go like this on the counter and have the splinter hurt.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it
horrible.
hurt really bad.
The only thing with like taking care of children like in a daycare setting, which I did in Child Development 1 and 2, you get a lot of colds and flus and even strep throat. So,
yeah, I know, you get exposed to that. And
Yeah, that's kind of one downer,
so it like I
Same
was,
with being a teacher, you're exposed to their germs, you
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
get a lot of colds and flus and I don't know if you did, I don't know. I know I often
well,
get
I
sick.
did some student teaching, but these weren't with children. But I understand that you can get
Well,
little
I'll tell you,
sniffles here.
there were respiratory things that I picked up, and
Yeah.
something that a lot of people don't realize that is from grading papers that
yes.
the students have handled.
Yep,
You can actually get respiratory
yeah,
things.
yeah, you can, yep.
But the worst I ever had from being in the classroom was my allergy to chalk dust.
Uh-huh.
And I got very, very, very sick in, I think it was 1985 or 1986. I couldn't understand why I was so sick. It seemed to be flu, but I had a problem with my inner ears and my balance, and headaches, and my inner ears were so badly infected that I was hearing organ music back and forward in my ears all the time,
Really?
like tinnitus, and that was from allergy to chalk dust. Well, we know there must have been a real reason for schools at all levels to convert from chalk dust
Yes.
to erase boards.
Yes.
But now you have to worry about making sure you have the low odor markers because in the others, the fumes can
Yeah.
really get to you and
Yeah.
make you feel high.
Hold on a minute, I'll take some of that
amazed
secret ingredient.
All right.
You know, when they used to have glue sniffing a few years ago,
Oh, yeah.
I'm really kind of amazed that kids didn't pick up sniffing erase board markers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's, I love children. That's enough. I love children, but it's just such a big responsibility.
It is.
It's tough enough when you're watching somebody else's children, but then to have your own.
Yeah.
And I guess no parent likes disciplining their child.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But that's probably necessary.
Yeah, it
in
is.
some instances,
We've been
you know.
talking about all of these model families on television, but I actually lived through the situation of having to be a single parent.
Yeah.
And that's tougher because you not only have to go out and make the living, but you
Yeah.
have to make sure that all the child's needs are met.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, and those are burdens that I don't feel like I'll be burdened, because you know what? I've noticed this. When you're a parent and you're falling behind financially or struggling with supporting your child or whatever, you don't get much mercy from people.
No.
It's like they expect you to do this even if you don't have like the means, like say adequate
Or the
transportation.
time.
Or the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody focuses on kids so much, which is a good thing, that you don't get no, oh, I understand you don't have any money. I understand you don't have any car. It's
Yeah.
do it. It's like you're just demanded to do it even if the circumstances are against you or
I know.
finances are against you. And those are burdens I'll never have to worry about, you know. As far as well, now that I'm older.
When I
with
look
that.
at my son now,
No, I mean,
and
kids
my
are a blessing,
grandson
yeah.
and granddaughter and my beautiful daughter-in-law,
Mhm.
I don't think that it was such a burden.
No, I don't mean in a bad way.
Right.
I'm just talking about from a human point of view.
Yep.
If you're struggling, you don't seem to get mercy from people.
Yeah.
That's
It's like
true.
it's like, okay, here's a good example. Suppose you're unfortunately you're divorced and you're have to give alimony and child support. And let's say you have no car, you live in the snow 30 miles out in the boondocks. You don't hear people acknowledging it. All they do is expect you to take something from nothing and make it happen.
Exactly.
I've noticed that with, like, you see these court shows, these judge shows and things.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
World news events. There's no understanding for the guy that has to do the providing when he's struggling. It's just,
The point is, why,
make it happen.
why is he
you
struggling?
know? I don't know. I don't know.
In many cases, it's a problem with wrong choices.
Well, perhaps.
Which is
But I mean
probably
just
why
in
the marriage
general.
ended in the
I
first
just mean in
place.
general, that could be true. It just seems like there's no compassion or no mercy,
Yeah.
whether it's a man or a woman. It's like they expect you to take something from nothing
Yeah.
and make it happen.
Or, you get laid off from a good job.
Yeah, just things
a
like
very
that.
good job, and the
Yeah.
company closes and you can't find other work.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
they
then what
expect you
happens?
to just make it happen. The only one I remember who could make something from nothing was God. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Which is where my plug comes in
yeah.
for churches that,
Uh-huh.
that provide homes on a temporary basis
Yep.
and food assistance and job assistance,
Uh-huh.
which is much better than taxpayers having to provide those things. Say it with music, beautiful music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the churches can't provide it all. They can't do it all. I mean,
Well, I understand that, but I was just talking about,
Well,
if
they
you're in a-
provide enough to help to give people a hand up instead of just a handout.
well, a lot of people are on disability like myself, and a lot of people, we struggle, we work, and we still, like a lot of working people, need food stamps. The money just isn't enough, so they need that hand up. It's, in Oregon, they call it self-sufficiency programs. I like that. And a lot of working people are struggling on food stamps, and they've got work jobs, and they work.
I've known instances
work,
of people who've had good jobs that have had to get food stamps.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, really
exactly.
good jobs. I've seen families like that
Yeah.
that have had to actually do that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not walking those shoes, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But I try to have compassion because, like, I've seen situations where somebody's getting assistance and there's be someone who will attack them.
I know.
Like it's their fault. Like, you're just not trying hard enough. You're lazy. You're
Yeah.
just a bum. I've seen that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've actually seen that. I've had family members like that.
Yeah.
Past family members that were so harsh. and critical towards single women, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you live in the inner city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. See, I have family in those inner cities, and I wished I could have been rich enough to get them out of there.
Well,
You
I
know,
even have.
it's just horrible the compassion that people have to those who are poor.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, I can remember.
I'm talking about single moms and things like that.
1995, I had a really good job in Las Vegas. And because of political reasons, some of my fellow workers were jealous of me. And so was management. And they set me up and fired me. And the union didn't help me. I couldn't get unemployment. I had a child to support, and I wasn't able to get any type of assistance whatsoever.
I know, that doesn't
Food
surprise me,
stamps I
yeah.
couldn't qualify for because I had a car and owned
Yeah,
a
then they make you
condo.
sell your car and you plunge yourself into a more economic trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't get back and forth
I
to
know.
work.
That's what I was talking about.
So
the
I took
compassion
all
thing.
all of these
You know?
low-paid jobs, sometimes 3 and 4 at a time, and I gradually became, got back to having good employment.
Good for you.
But not everybody can do that.
Right.
I know it. That's why I have compassion. Okay, changing the subject. Linda, tell me if you know this song.
I've heard it.
I'll keep playing it. I'll keep playing it.
I'm sorry, I don't. I would not be able to identify it.
Nope.
Although I know I've heard it before.
What about you, Emmett?
Don't know it.
I'll keep playing it.
I think I've heard it somewhere, but I don't know where.
I'll give it a hint. Culture Club.
Don't know.
When you said Culture Club, all I could think of is that movie, The Breakfast Club.
Nope.
Yeah, I love that movie, The
Here's the
Breakfast Club.
conclusion. Still a little bit?
Nope.
I think I know that part of it, but I don't.
You'll know this part here. Reckon this part?
What is it?
Still don't know, huh?
Nope.
It's called Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by Culture
Oh,
Club.
yes.
Boy George. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I came up with a piano version of that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that Culture Club was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
band.
group. It was a famous group in the 80s, and they had a singer named Boy George.
Yeah.
I remember him.
And that was a song called Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
Yeah.
So that was the 80s for you. They
Yeah.
had some crazy songs in
They
the
did.
80s, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And they had a bunch of groups that came out in the 70s and the 80s, especially the 80s.
Yeah.
Let's see, was the Culture Club, was Cyndi Lauper, I think, came out in that area?
They had Devo.
Yeah. And what is that? I think, did Rocket, Herbie Hancock, didn't that come out in the 80s and went something like this?
Don't know it.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a little simple song. Because Herbie Hancock, he's like lightning fast on the piano.
Yeah.
So to see him play something that is simple like that, it was kind of fun and cute.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I don't think people even remember that
Did
song
you ever
anyway.
look up Johnny Mercer?
I will. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I got the stuff now to look it up, the phone.
Yeah.
So now it's going to make my life a lot easier that I have access to this. I'll be able to look up stuff that I just couldn't
Yeah.
seemingly look up before.
Yeah, absolutely. You can even look at old Gordon Lightfoot songs and play them.
Yeah, I'll be able, and then eventually I'll be able to record some of those songs and put them onto the phone to hear them.
Yeah, I love Gordon Lightfoot, you know.
Yeah, he wasn't here in Billings.
My
Not Billings,
favorite was-
Missoula about a year ago or something like that.
No, a few years ago, Gordon Lightfoot was in town, and like I said, I couldn't go see him because I didn't have the $70. Oh,
That's how much it cost to see him?
$70.
That must have been the cheap seats, huh?
Yeah, I just nothing I could do. Just nothing. I didn't have the money.
Well, I can relate to that. When I was 26 years old, I wanted to go see Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
The cheap seats were $100.
Oh, yeah.
Way back up in the balcony with binoculars, probably. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not gonna go see old Blue Eyes on my 26th
Yeah.
birthday.
Well, the first evening I worked as a camera girl in a Las Vegas showroom. The night that I started working, Elvis was in the big Hilton's showroom, and I was supposed to work in the top balcony, taking pictures of people and selling them. And I made good money in the top balcony, even though people had to pay so much for the tickets. And of course, it was only about a week after that he died. It was really interesting. That was 1975, I believe. Kind of interesting.
That's a pure gift. Now that panel's come, I'm going to start putting the time in and really learn those songs. And hopefully by the time I play at the mall this year, I'll be better equipped. I should be
Hungarian
playing.
Rhapsody.
Well, I don't know about that. That might take me a while. I know the first part. It goes something like this.
What you were playing earlier was called "In the Hall of the Mountain King."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And that's Grieg, isn't it? Edvard Grieg?
Yeah, agreed.
I used to do a song, Solveig's song by Grieg, which was quite memorable. It's not from one of his suites. Thank you. I really like Liszt. And your hands aren't as big as his.
That's such a beautiful song.
It is.
Yeah, now that I have the means to start practicing, I can take the sheet music out and do that, because I have the sheet music to that. It's called the Hungarian Rhapsody, I believe it is, number 2.
And you have those comprehensive classical books too.
Yeah, and I was looking through those books and that song's in there. I just didn't have a piano to practice, and now I can start working. I knew the first part of that.
I took piano lessons for many years. I was never good at it. Did I tell
No,
you?
you have to really, really do it slow and break it
Yeah,
apart.
yeah.
And you have to just do it over and over and over. And about the 1 trillionth time, you'll start to get used to it. It gives you an idea. I'm exaggerating, but it gives you an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And
when I was a kid, that's all I did. I practiced and
Yeah.
practiced and practiced. Ugh, goodness.
Well, I got piano lessons sporadically. I think I only really got about 3 years worth of piano lessons.
Uh-huh.
And I practiced, but I just never was interested in
I can
learning
understand
to
it. That's
play
something
by
that-
ear or
Yeah, that's something you
anything
have
like
to
that.
really...
And it's like,
You have to enjoy it, yeah.
people have told me that I have perfect pitch,
Mm-hmm.
and I call it literal pitch, because if I can see the notes on a sheet music,
Uh-huh.
I can sing a melody. But I really regret not having learned to do music by ear. I mean, certainly as
Well, there is a trick
as
to that,
singer,
Linda.
I can do it easily. But
Well, but there's a trick to that playing by ear. It's not, classical music and so on is what's called rote, R-O-T-E.
yes.
Note for note. But with popular music and playing by ear, you have to disregard all that. 'cause
You have
they're
to know
different
how to
principles.
chord, and you have to know
You have to know your chords
keys
and your scales. It's based on it. You have to have
yeah.
extensive knowledge to start improvising around that. Then,
So I wasted all that time and
Oh.
didn't do anything with it.
well, you're here. And on that note, you're not a waste either.
Yeah.
On that note, see, time's over.
Mhm.
Hour's gone already.
Oh, my, how
See how
time
fast?
flies.
Yeah, I know it. Well, you want to say any final words, Linda?
I just want to wish everybody a beautiful spring week.
Good. Emmet, any last minute?
Yes, it's time for surreal joke.
Okay.
There were these 2 washing machines, and they were splashing around in the coffee cup. Wasn't that surreal? And this one driver came along and said, "Oh, I can't see around that! Ha ha ha!" I'm running out of surreal jokes. Wasn't that hilarious?
I always play that song when he does
Yeah.
that. Don't quit your day job. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're just having fun.
And happy trails to you.
And we can end with that happy trails. I'm Asaph Adonai. Thanks for tuning in. And we have the lovely Linda Brooks Curtis. Boy, I'm getting tongue-tied here.
Yeah.
Better practice saying Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers, a peck of peppers,
Yeah.
Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers. Where's a peck of peppers Peter Piper picked?
Yeah.
Give
used to
this
say
guy a smartphone and you can't stop him.
Yeah. And affectionately our aging rocker Emmet. I am Asaph Adonai. So until our next show, Maranatha. Let's do that happy trails.
To you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Here's hoping until then.
Perfect.